The title of this podcast is Always Remember You Have a Choice. There were several decades in my life which I was unaware that I had a choice. I think people told me that Keith, you have a choice about how you choose to, deal with this. And what they were talking about was something that was completely over my head. At the time, I didn't have that level of consciousness. I thought what they meant was the actions that I would take. But what they really meant was how I would relate to what was happening. Like what would be my relationship with it? Would it be one of acceptance or would it be one of resistance? And regarding the situation itself, what was going on internally was complete resistance. I may have been trying to address the problem, but I wasn't fully accepting it because I wanted to be different than what it really was. And I could have really benefited by somebody saying to me, Keith, this is the reality of what's happening right here. You have a choice on how you can experience it as you go through whatever is happening, whether it's a change in leadership, whether it's unfavorable feedback that I received at the job, or if we go outside of work, it could have something to do with a divorce, a health scare, or diagnosis, moving, relocating, whatever the case may be, there is an opportunity there to choose what your relationship is with that situation. As I mentioned in previous podcasts, when I was in the Marine Corps at 18 years old, I was stationed in Yuma, Arizona, which is a far cry away from where I wanted to be stationed, which was in Tennessee, where I'm from. And I was unaware that I had a choice. I went there begrudgingly and I had a miserable 4 years. I thought it was the event itself that was causing my suffering, but it wasn't. I had this melodrama that was going on inside in which I was complaining and I was at war with being in Yuma. So it was a lot of pain experienced during those 4 years there. Since then, I've had other opportunities to wake up and really be aware that I have a choice about how I relate to the moment or interact with it. And many times I failed again, but over the last 10 years of really committing myself to a daily practice, all that's changed. Now, more times than not, I am keenly aware of the choice that I have with situations that present themselves to me. And I'm so grateful for this awareness. I really, really am. I mean, if you got to go through something, let's call that problem number one. Your inability to handle it or your inability to choose how you handle it. That's problem number two. So I'm a big believer that one problem is more than enough. So why would I create problem number two? I'm not doing that anymore. And I have a great friend right now who is experiencing something in the workplace. And I am just super inspired by her ability to wake up every day, do her practice, resist what her mind is, not resist, but don't take on what her mind is saying about the situation and really practicing presence and gratitude, and then taking intelligent action to make the most of the situation, which in this case is how she can learn and grow with everything that's going on. And I am so grateful for this. And just to give you a few more examples of not being aware that there was a choice. And then when I did get some guidance that told me, Keith, you have a choice here of remembering that when my mind would start to pipe up was, past elections. I remember an election that took place over 2 decades ago, and I was so upset about the outcome. And I suffered for the next 4 years of that person's presidency. And after voluntarily throwing away that time to make the most of that 4 years and to do it in a peaceful way that was free of suffering, I made a commitment that I would never spend another election cycle like that again. Now, there may be things that I think are happening that are not aligned with my values, or I don't think, are kind and thoughtful and compassionate that certain leaders are responsible for, but that's their path. My path is in the face of how this person is choosing to lead. How can I still keep an open heart? That's a choice. How can I still do my part to express and extend kindness to other people? That is an inside job. That is me choosing to take action. And I am so grateful that I have chosen that path and consistently do it every single day. And so I encourage you to always remember that regardless of what's happening, you have a choice. And it begins with acceptance. And once you accept it, you can choose how do you want your experience to be as you work through the situation or work with it. And this does not mean inaction. What it means is if you choose to take action, it will be intelligent action that is informed by keeping an open heart, by practicing loving kindness and gratitude. That's what that means. And believe it or not, you can do it. And history is filled with people that have made that choice consciously. And I think humanity is better for it.